Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. You know, it's funny. I have been labeled to be some sort of Jalen Hurts hater or someone who's not appreciating him because it takes me, personally, more time to get sucked in. I am thrilled with what Jalen Hurts has brought to the table. I am extremely excited. He has a skill set. He has a motor. He's hard to take down. The fellas love him. There's no doubt about it that you can see a rise from this team based off of who Jalen Hurts is as a personality. Big time plays being made in the fourth quarter. When you need drives, this season you haven't been able to put together any drives at all to really be in a situation to need a legitimate drive downfield. But when you do with Jalen Hurts, you feel comfortable. You see a poised quarterback. You see a guy who's willing to make the plays for everyone. So, to summarize, if you couldn't understand what that meant, I'm super intrigued for what Jalen Hurts can possibly be if he continues to play this way. There is an example on this current team this season. Not even someone who's on this current team where this happened years ago. I'm talking right now, 2020. Travis Fulgham. There was a moment, 4 weeks to be exact, where if I asked you, would you sign this guy to an extension? You would say, absolutely. This is one of the best wide receivers in football. What happened? Now, I don't think he's this pathetic. I think he's somewhere in between what he gave you for 4 weeks and what he's been giving you, because he's essentially been giving you nothing, although you saw him later in the game, and I wonder how much of that was because of Jalen Reagor getting injured and banged up to the point where you had to go with someone like Travis Fulgham. So you have witnessed a scenario where when someone plays strong for a decent amount of time, for a month in the NFL, it doesn't automatically mean that the kid is dominant, best ever, because let's be realistic. Some of the things, even though it came in a loss yesterday, some of the things that you've seen out of Jalen Hurts to this point, whether it's total yards or his rushing yards in game one, over 100, how many touchdowns he had yesterday in 4. There's so many stats that will tell you this kid is lethal. This kid is at the top of the league. But is it fair to say that's exactly who he is because of 2 games? I need more time. I don't hate Jalen Hurts because it takes me longer to be convinced. I've been doing this for a couple years now, and it's not even a significant amount of time, but I've been covering teams, and the more and more I grasp all the information throughout the last handful of years of doing this, you don't always need to overreact the instant something positive is in your eyesight, is in your hands. Yeah, Jalen Hurts has been an awesome watch. He's been making football fun again when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. We've been miserable. It's been a horrible season, and now there's some juice involved. You're excited. You want to see the football be moved downfield. Guys are making plays. The team has been elevated. There's a lot happening just because of the quarterback switch and the sense of urgency from Doug Peterson all the way down to the punter. I need more time. And I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't think that makes me someone who dislikes Jalen Hurts. I don't have to be waving pom-poms and say this guy's the best ever. He's the next Russell Wilson just because of 2 solid performances. Show me over a longer period of time. I'm encouraged. I am. I really do see some things that I love and I think translates into how football is nowadays. You got to force Doug Peterson to run the football. There's no denying that. Well, Jalen Hurts' ability to run as well forces Doug Peterson's hands to run. Although, I think one of the big reasons why you fell on your face late and only scored 6 points in the second half is because you got away from the run. You had how many carries for Miles Sanders in the second half? 5. You had 12 for him in the first half. 18 passes, 16 rushes in the first half, 20 points. Do you see the correlation? Because it's absolutely there. Now, we are broadcasting live, as always, from the Manscaped Man Cave. You get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. One other thing I want to touch on before we start taking your phone calls on the Anytime Hotline. I just wonder, because let's look back over the last handful of seasons. 2018, Nick Foles goes on a late run and puts this team in a position to make the postseason. 2019, Carson Wentz goes on a tear with the practice squad guys. Led the team to victory. The Eagles snuck into the postseason. 9-7 both of those years. Right now, we're witnessing December Doug once again with Jalen Hurts. So in 2018, it was Foles. 2019, it was Wentz. 2020, Jalen Hurts. Is this the product of what Doug Peterson does? Now, I'm not trying to downplay what Jalen Hurts has brought to the table because it's obvious that his presence has totally changed the outlook on this team because of hope. The team now has hope when they look back. Carson Wentz lost everything. He lost that. When it comes to his teammates, the teammates did not look back at him and say, we have hope. Because he was playing that pitiful and it was that bad. It was that terrible what he gave you on Sundays. But with Hurts, it's a different story. So I'm not trying to discredit him. But I've seen now 3 straight years. This isn't 1 year. This isn't 4 games. This is 3 straight years of late season action for Doug Peterson where his team thrives. And this is a positive for Doug. You can look at it negatively first. Why do you always play bad football in September, October, early on? And why does it take you a slow start for you to really pick it up? So you can look at it negatively, but if you want to look at it positively, you won your coach putting your team in the best position possible late in the season. This is when you want to be playing your best football. You just don't want it to be because your back's against the wall. But 3 years, the last 3 of Doug P. with 3 different quarterbacks now. You got great play. The team looks better this late. Always. There's got to be a correlation. There really does. It's so interesting looking at this football team, though. By the way, they actually activated Desean Jackson's 21-day practice window. You'll be seeing him, I promise you. You know, I hear all the time that, well, there's no reason to play this guy because you have a younger version of him, this and that. It doesn't matter. Alshon's been playing how long? Jason Peters was playing how long? If they paid anyone money, they're going to be playing. Now, will the same happen with Carson Wentz? That is a great question. Because you can see all the veterans that they put a lot of money into, they constantly play. And I think that you will see Desean Jackson because in the coaches' minds and in the players' minds, they're not out of it yet. They still have a chance at this thing. They need help. They got to look around the division and say, please do this and please do that. But if they win out, they have a chance to make the playoffs. So from their standpoint, let's throw in Desean Jackson. You saw the difference when Carson Wentz was playing quarterback, when Desean Jackson was available, and when he was not available. So with how well the offense is moving the ball now, you can argue if you get a Desean Jackson back, that would only add a way bigger element than they already seem to have with the flow of Jalen Hurts and everybody else involved as well. So it'll just be interesting to see how they play the Desean Jackson card, but I would imagine that he is going to get some time. He put up on his Instagram, he reposted the Eagles' official account that said he was activated, and he tagged Jalen Hurts. There's something to it. You're going to see it. And I'm intrigued to see it. Are you kidding me? A speedster like that? Stretching the field out with a Desean Jackson? With what you're seeing now? Holy hell. Holy hell. With Carson Wentz, though, I asked the question, is it going to be the same with Wentz? I don't know how you look at this current situation and say, we're bringing both back. I just don't think it's possible. How can you? If Jalen Hurts is the starter next season, and Carson Wentz is on the bench, I don't think that's as bad as if Carson Wentz was starting and you have Jalen Hurts behind him. I don't think that scenario works out. But I don't think that the Eagles organization is just going to react instantly and say, this is what it is. Oh, Jalen Hurts had 4 games that are solid. He's automatically your franchise quarterback moving forward. And I don't want them to think that way, to be honest with you. I don't want them thinking like Joe Schmo, the fan, who screams to yell at Jim Schwartz every day, who screams to get rid of Doug Peterson every day, who screams to get rid of Howie Roseman every day. Some of these guys make me uncomfortable. I'm not thrilled with Doug. I don't think he's the perfect coach. I'm not thrilled with Howie Roseman, but I don't want them reacting the way that some of these fans do after seeing a handful of games. But this is a tough decision for the front office, and they've made very questionable moves, so it is fair to be a little nervous, to feel a type of way, knowing that they have such a monstrous, franchise-changing type decision on their plate. I think it's fair to be a little skeptical, going, uh-oh, look at their track record. Are they great? No. Are they the worst ever? No. But in the recent times, I think it's fair to kind of assess it with a question mark and a little bit of worry. But I still stand by, no matter how worried I feel or how my stomach is turning thinking about this type of move that they have to make. I still don't want them acting like any of these irrationals out there. And yeah, I'll put you in a category of the irrationals. You ready for some anytime hotline calls? I know I am. Let's slide in a DraftKings sponsor here before we hop into the action. The 2021 basketball season is here. The teams around the league took the offseason to retool and revamp and are ready to hit the court. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, has rolled out another one of their can't-miss offers. Trying DraftKings Sportsbook is easy, so what are you waiting for? Get in on all of the action now. To celebrate, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new players 100-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's right. All you have to do is bet $1 on any featured matchup this week. And if your team wins, you cash a crisp $100. While we are all excited for the return of basketball, let's not forget football playoffs are right around the corner. So head to the app now and check out all of DraftKings Daily Odds Boost. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code Brodes when signing up to get 100-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's code Brodes for new players to get a shot at $100 on any featured matchup this week. For a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Ready for this? Here we go. Let's start it off.
So, I'm just going to keep this short and sweet. Who do I have the most faith in the NFC East coach-wise? Doug Peterson. I don't really have to comment too much on it. Yes, he hasn't been having a great season this year, but I think he can lead the Eagles a lot better than how Mike McCarthy is leading the Cowboys, or how Joe Judge is leading the Giants, or how Rivera is leading the football team. That's all. Go Birds.
Huh. See, I'm a little confused with that phone call. Is that long-term? Is that for the back stretch of this season? Seriously, when you look at this team and things that we talked about during all of the COVID stuff that happened before the season even began, we thought the Eagles would be in the best position because all these other teams have a new coach. All these other teams have a new regime. They got to implement this whole entire new system. The players have to learn the new playbook. There was so much in play with that, and somehow here the Eagles are sitting at the bottom of the worst division in football. So it is kind of weird that we thought the Eagles would be in the best possible situation, and they were. It's not like we thought they would be. They still were. It just didn't play out because, well, the team didn't play so well. And I know people think it's as simple as they just switched the quarterback. The quarterback fixed everything. And I personally don't think that you can be that miserable, that pathetic, that awful, can't move the sticks at all, can't get any first downs, can't convert any third down, and that falls on one guy. That's literally impossible. And if you feel that way, you haven't played sports. I've been in plenty of locker rooms. I've been in plenty of situations. When you are that egregious as a product, when there's more than one person that plays a role in the outcome of each play and the success or failure of the team, guess what? It doesn't fall on one guy. Was Carson Wentz putrid? Absolutely. But for people who think, well, the only difference is everything else is exactly the same and Jalen Hurts was the only change. Nope. The team has played better because, well, there was that spark, different focus level, different determination, and it helps that Jalen Hurts is playing significantly better as well. But there's so many pieces and there's so many reasons why you're seeing what you're getting right now. I know it's an easy answer. This actually takes second-level thinking, diving deeper into the brain. It's not black and white. It's not this or that. That's why there's 53 men, a billion coaches, a GM, a front office, an owner. That's why it takes everyone pulling their own weight to succeed. Same can be said about a unit at offense. And to kind of put this in perspective of where we were to start this podcast, doesn't make me a Jalen Hurts hater. The kid's been playing unbelievable. He had awesome plays. 4th and 3, was it? Throw to Greg Ward in the end zone? The throw to Greg Ward in the end zone before half. Moving downfield. That third quarter drive where it was 3rd and 30. They throw a screen. They get it to 4th and 6. He is pounding the rock, making plays happen with his feet. He's taking on defenders. He's taking on a bunch of hits. He's been playing lights out. A+. Thriving. Both can be true, though. And that's where my problem lies. It's one or the other. One or the other. No. Doesn't have to be one or the other. Why? Who says that? Once again, it takes more thinking. You might have to use another part of your brain, but there's other ways to look at what's happening here. All right, what's next?
Listen, I'll be the first to say that Hurts played a great game, but I'm just listening to these people call Hurts sensational and a franchise quarterback and all this other stuff. When really, to me, I'm just kind of seeing more of the same from when Wentz was starting. I mean, how many times this season has Wentz led this putrid offense to a scoreless first half only to take it upon himself and throw a couple rare, great passes down the field just for them to fall short at the end of the game? I just don't see why we're praising Hurts to this extent when he really hasn't done anything that Wentz can't do.
I don't know if that laugh was sarcasm, if that was a troll call. I mean, it didn't really feel that way that it was a troll call, but that laugh made me speculate that something was going on. I will say, though, I think it's interesting to look at it from this perspective. If the Eagles with Carson Wentz played a game, and Carson Wentz had 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, but they lost 33-26 and only scored 6 points in the second half and got sacked twice in crucial moments later in the game, I think you would have a different vibe being sent off than what's happening now. Everyone's walking in with a pep in their step this morning and all happy because Jalen Hurts has been playing quarterback well, but I do think it's interesting to look at it from that perspective. You would have outrage. Why didn't you throw the ball away? He holds onto the ball too long. And even Coach Doug Peterson came out and threw shade at Jalen Hurts as if you got to get the ball out quicker. That was not on the offensive line. I thought that was kind of weird and eye-opening. I saw Trey Thomas not happy on Twitter that the coach is kind of throwing guys under the bus a little bit. Andy Reid would never do that, he says. So some old guys having some fun with it. I thought, though, hold on a second. Really? Doug Petrus threw guys under the bus? Huh. All right, let's take the next call.
Wow, all I can say is that Hurts, man, this kid looks like a stud already in game 2. He looking like a Russell Wilson out there, making all these nice plays, especially the one at the end of the game where he fumbled and he threw it to Goddard. That was a spectacular play. I mean, I don't really mind that much that we lost to the Cardinals. I don't think we were going to make the playoffs anyway. But man, this is very promising. It's been only 2 games, but those 2 games he's played exceptionally well. Also, Greg Ward had a nice game. Overall, I'm not that mad that we lost. It was a great game, and that just proved that Jalen Hurts is a stud, and I feel like he will be going in the future.
See, and that's where I'm having the issue. And I don't think that I'm out of touch to feel the way that I do. Oh, he's a stud. Yeah, was Travis Fulgham a full-out stud too? And is he now? And that's not to say Jalen Hurts is going to fall apart. I mean, is he just going to fall apart and beat Carson Wentz? That was so historic that your chances are probably going to tell you no. No, Jalen Hurts won't just fall on his face and be an embarrassment and forget how to play football like Carson Wentz seemed to do. So, you're right. If you look at it from that way, yeah, Jalen Hurts might not be to the level of Carson Wentz, but that doesn't mean this is truly who he is. He's a full-out stud. He's a no-brainer. He's a lock. He has shown that he has the attitude, that he has a great skill set. And you can see that he's damn good at throwing the football as well. There were errors. I know one specifically that stands out that relates to what Carson Wentz was doing all season was, here's Zach Ertz, and he missed Zach Ertz wide, maybe 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage. I thought, oh, God, that kind of looked just like what you saw out of Carson all season. But he dropped back over 40 times, and he made some impressive throws. What I love most about what I'm seeing out of Hurts is he's allowing the receivers to go make a play. If it's not a situation where the wide receiver has beaten his quarterback, it doesn't matter. It's not about beating the corner. If it's 50-50 at that moment, he's willing to take that chance to tell his guys, go make that play. I'll put the ball out there. You from there beat your matchup. You from there beat out the corner. Get open. High point the football. He's not afraid, while Carson Wentz was clearly afraid of that moment. Maybe a lot of it had to do with him throwing so many interceptions to that point that he didn't want to tack on more interceptions to the total. But when you saw him in the pocket, he would pump fake, he would second guess himself, he would wait for someone to be so wide open, and Jalen Hurts threw the guys open, and not necessarily open all the time. Sometimes he just trusted the guy to do what he needed to do in that route. That trust level is there throughout these receivers. And then if you look through the stat sheet, the receptions were spread around so much. Ertz, Goddard, Ward, Watkins, Sanders. You got a lot of guys, Rager, all throughout, being a part, being a key piece. We had Sal Powell on. I think we have the audio cuts here. I'm going to look through where we have. Here's Sal Powell. Okay, so he was not happy with the protection. He was not happy with how Doug Peterson utilized some of these tight ends when it came to blocking Jalen Hurts and keeping him upright. Let's start with Sal Powell, and the priority should be Hurts staying healthy.
He insulted him during the game. What he trotted out there in terms of offensive line protection for Jalen Hurts was disrespectful to that young man and his career and future as a quarterback on this football team. I can't state that more emphatically. The Arizona Cardinals lined up 5, 6, 7 guys on the line of scrimmage using safeties and linebackers. They pinned their ears back, and they just came after Jalen Hurts like a runaway truck. Jalen Hurts, after not being sacked against New Orleans, is sacked 6 unconscionable times.
Now, he goes on to continue. It doesn't look like we actually have the exact quote that I was looking for. But when you look at Goddard, when you look at Zach Ertz, if you know your quarterback is getting creamed and he's getting destroyed and they're sending multiple guys, athletic guys, and that's what the Cardinals do. They have so much speed and craziness involved in the front of their defense that they'll give you a ton of pressure. They'll give you some different looks, and it will confuse the hell out of you, and it'll confuse a line that hasn't played together. This is how many lines in how many games, so it's not as if the communication is right on the money. So I bring that up because Sal Powell was mentioning, Zach Ertz, Goddard, you got to maybe put them more closer to your tackles for pass protection, and then you can utilize some other receivers. Yeah, you know what? You might lose some guys downfield with these tight ends who are one of your better guys in Goddard and Ertz, but you at least give Hurts more time to operate, and he has more space to work with some of the other speed wide receivers that you have. Southbound not happy. You could feel the intensity in his voice. I was a little surprised, I'm not going to lie. And that shows me the little things with Doug Peterson that ultimately are big things about Doug Peterson. I still have worries about what Doug Peterson provides from a coaching standpoint. I love the fact that his teams fight. He once again, when adversity hits, the team always fights for him, always battles, and sometimes the message runs dry. Now, he has a lot of the same players in there, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. There's a lot of veteran players that have been with Doug for a handful of years, so I think that adds value. But at the same time, when you think about it, a message runs dry at some point with these coaches, and it's easy to check out. It's like, okay, Doug, we heard this one before. All right, Doug, you said that one last year after week 10. All right, Doug, you said that 2 years ago at week 11. When you hear the same message over and over and over again from the same guy, it doesn't always impact the locker room the same way. But here we are, year 5, and it's still connecting with these people. So that is huge. But when it comes to getting away from the run game, which could essentially costed them the game, 20 points in the first half, 6 in the second. Well, what happened? What was the difference? Yeah, the other team's going to make adjustments. Yeah, the other squad is going to figure out some of your tendencies and totally adapt. But it's on you to also counter that. You need to adapt to what they adapt to. That's what coaching's all about. It's about the chess pieces. And I didn't really see Doug Peterson make the correction. And Doug isn't always the smartest guy in the room. So these little things that are being discussed with Doug, I hate to even call them little things, because if you package them all up together, they're huge things. I'm not sold on Doug. The offense looked better with Hurts. It's not all about that. Once again, let's go back to second level thinking. Let's go back to something being right there in your face. It's not always just, okay, what is on the surface? What is the first layer? There's more to all of this. There really is. And that's why people are afraid of what's going to happen with the salary cap and what are you going to do with Zach Ertz, Brandon Graham, some of these big players. You're going to have to move on from them. And I hate the fact that people say, oh, well, look, it's an easy fix. Do this, do that, do this. Yeah, you're changing the whole team. You're making monstrous moves. So, yeah, you know what? You might be able to easily get under some of this salary cap issues, but you're crushing your roster by doing it. So it's not that easy. You're changing the entire identity. But maybe bringing in someone like John Dorsey only helps. Player evaluation. What he did in Kansas City, what he did with Cleveland, pretty impressive stuff. He had his fingerprints all over it. Where I'm a little bit upset is this. Why did the Eagles feel the need to hide it? Why couldn't they say, we hired John Dorsey? If anything, I think that would win over some of the fan base. How much of this fan base despises Howie, despises Jeffrey Lurie right now? If they came out with a statement and said, we now have John Dorsey as someone who can help us with player evaluation, someone who can help us with the talent, a football guy, if you will, I think people would be thrilled because everyone's under the assumption that that's Howie Roseman right now, and no one's satisfied whatsoever.
We still have yet to see how these last two games are going to play out. But right now, at this particular moment, Jalen Hurts may be the guy in Philly. Again, play in the last two games, see what he's capable of. But that was the most electric offense that I've seen this season. I've never seen the offense this electric, this on pace. He was extending plays. He was looking like a franchise quarterback.
You never seen this before? I saw Carson Wentz make these plays before. In 2017, he was electric. He was extending plays. He was making it all happen. And that's how I started my post-game show off with yesterday after the game. I've heard all this before. I don't know what to do with this information, but it is a reality. We've all said this. Houdini, it's magic. He's fighting. He's a gamer. You always feel like you have a chance with this guy. He'll never let you go down without a fight. He's a leader. We all said this, 2016, 2017. So here we are, that call, to say, I've never seen the offense be like this before. Sure you have. You absolutely have. Their offense was off the chains in 2017. Their offense was flowing. It was humming. You were putting away teams after the second quarter. You were crucifying squads. Why? Carson Wentz was a gamer. Carson Wentz was awesome. Carson Wentz was lethal. You got your franchise quarterback. Hell, everyone was screaming, ready for this, that you had a dynasty, that you were the next New England Patriots, that the Eagles are about to go on a dynasty run. What happened to that? So that is why my expectations get tampered a bit, because I've been hearing for so damn long about this player, that player, dynasty here, dynasty there, and things fade out. I don't want this to fade out. I'm not rooting for it to fade out. I don't give a damn who's taking snaps. I want the Eagles to be successful. If that's Carson Wentz, if that's Nate Sudfeld, if that's Jalen Hurts, if it's somebody else, I don't give a damn who's taking the snaps. I just want to see the team succeed. So I think it's very possible to sit here today excited for Jalen Hurts, but at the same time, not go to the extreme and say, you have your franchise quarterback. I can't be sold off 2 football games. And I think it's crazy that people think I'm crazy for saying it. Do you know what's not crazy, though? Orbit Energy and Power. And look, I'm a new homeowner, and this company has provided so much for me. It's unreal. A+ work, best in class when it comes to their production and their team as well. With over 20 years of experience in the solar industry, they are home to your solar experts in residential and commercial projects. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. They offer flexible financing solutions such as $0 down. They also provide water purification systems, tree removals, electrical upgrades, new roofs, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. So they provide so much, it's absurd. Their phone number and the link to their website is in the description. If you are looking to upgrade your home, I promise you, Orbit Energy and Power is the best that you can use. So make sure you check out all of their information down below.
Eagles fans, you know we could like both Carson and Hurts at the same time. You don't have to bash both of them or, try to divide this team. Clearly, Hurts is the future, man. He fits us better. He could escape the pocket. He has small things to clean up, but he's a rookie. I feel like this team just gelled together with him, and this team, I think they like him more. Even with Alshon, you can see he's giving more effort with Hurts. The one when he almost had the interception, Alshon smacked the ball out. If that was Wentz, he would have let that go.
The Alshon thing, though, you are right. There seems to be a different mindset from Alshon when anybody but Carson Wentz is taking the snaps. I can't blame Carson Wentz for that. Alshon Jeffrey seems to be a tool. Let's just keep it how it is. Let's keep it 100. As a professional athlete, if you're going to allow that to be the difference in how hard you play, well then shame on you. If that's going to impact your role, your effort level, how much you compete, I have a problem with Alshon Jeffrey in that scenario, not Carson Wentz. Now, that's not to say that Carson Wentz is perfect when it comes to that teammate relationship role, because I think it's been very clear and discussed that, hey, maybe there is a problem with how he connects to his teammates and how his relationship is with some of the guys. Keep in mind, just a handful of off seasons ago, he was bringing everyone to North Dakota just so we can relate with them more and have more time to hang out and vibe on more of a personal level. Shows me he cares and he's willing to learn how to properly do it. But yeah, I understand that Carson Wentz might not be the smoothest when it comes to being a fella, being one of the guys, if you will. But if Alshon Jeffrey chooses to not work hard because who's taking snaps, I can't blast Carson Wentz fully for that. With Jalen, the team does seem to be responding to him differently. Will that be forever? And that's why this organization, whether you like it or not, has a real hard decision to make. If you're basing this only off of what you've seen this year, it's a no-brainer. But that's not what you're doing. I don't know how it's ever going to work with those two together. My gut tells me they find a way to move on from Carson Wentz. If you ask me right now today, what does your gut feel tell you? I think they are going to find a way to move on from Carson Wentz. They're going to take a monster cap hit. They're going to sacrifice a full season of nonsense because of the cap hell that they're in on top of Carson Wentz being added to the mix. It's going to be a nightmare, but I do feel like they commit to that. Although I don't think it's going to be as easy as what some of the fans are seeing right now. It's not that hard to look at from another team's perspective. What I mean by that is when you look at Carson Wentz's deal, it's not as if all these other teams are so afraid of that contract for him. It's the dead cap that's making this harder. It's the dead cap on the Eagles' books that's making this more of a conversation than an opposing team trying to acquire Carson Wentz. Because you're getting essentially a guy who's getting paid starting quarterback money. If you think Carson Wentz is still a player and he needs a new fresh outlook and he needs a new fresh mind and he needs a new fresh city, well, what you're paying him contract-wise if you're an opposing team after the trade is just starting quarterback money. So it's not as if you're going out on a limb really going, oh, no, he's getting paid around what starting quarterbacks get paid. It's on the books for the Eagles that makes this such a harder spot than it should have been, because here's why. You didn't have to do it! You did not have to pay Carson Wentz early. They were trying to beat the market. They took a monster gamble. They hit on 18, essentially. They had if we're playing blackjack, they had an 18. They hit, trying to get 21. Well, it's possible they busted. Who knows? Maybe they didn't. If Carson Wentz works out, well, then they didn't. If Carson Wentz turns the page and somehow he's back to being a good quarterback again, well, then they didn't bust. And they got him at a reasonable deal. But if that's not the case, you set this franchise back longer than you might have thought. And that, too, of course, is if Jalen Hurts can play. Because here's my scared scenario I'll throw at you. Wentz isn't good. Wentz falls on his face. This is who he is. Jalen Hurts is not strong. Now what? What do you do then? You're going to be drafting in a high spot this year. The highest you probably will in a long period of time. As frustrating as this team has been and this organization has been, we're not used to drafting this high. When you got Wentz, what'd you have to do? You had to move a bunch of pieces. You had to move up and move up and move up and move up. So it took a lot of capital to get to that level. Now you're sitting at a spot where quarterbacks are in play. Do you take advantage of that? I don't feel sorry for them whatsoever. Not even a little bit. Let's finish off with this last call.
Other than the sloppiness on both sides, eventually great players make great plays, and Hopkins made a great play to win it. Can't sell Jalen Hurts short. The kid simply ran out of time. But other than the safety in the first quarter, he didn't really make too many glaring mistakes. You could even say somewhat that he outplayed Kyler Murray as far as decision-making goes. But our secondary just couldn't hold up, and the offense just couldn't do enough in the second half, especially after they survived the fake punt. When they had the ball, when the game was tied. When they didn't score there, you knew the game was pretty much over.
And that's a problem to me that your offense just completely shut down in the second half. That is a major issue. That's a concern. It's almost as if the head coach doesn't have a counterpunch. Well, you got to do better than that. You have to. Special teams sucked. The bad snap to Zach Ertz, and the one time the coach had an excuse to go for two. I didn't have the guy to hold the ball. He elects to kick it? Jeez. The punt, bad. The block punt, bad. And when I said punt the first time, I meant the 4th and 2 fake punt, which was executed perfectly by the Cardinals. Now, I like that you brought up the quarterback battle between Murray and Hurts. All around, yeah, I did think Hurts played better. I also feel, because one, we heard the storylines early on with Kyler Murray, we don't watch Kyler Murray every day. You watch your own quarterback with a different set of eyes than everybody else. Kyler Murray's a big name, but he's had major flaws. He's been in tough positions. He's made bad decisions, brutal decisions. I was actually texting one of my old teammates who lives in Arizona during the game, and he's like, just watch, just wait. Kyler Murray's going to make a bunch of problems happen. He's going to force mistakes. He's going to try and throw the football in wrong areas, and then within 2 plays, Marcus Epps gets an interception because he threw it right into his breadbasket. We don't watch Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, there's a reason why the team started out with how many wins? And then now they're trying to find a way to stay above water to get themselves in a position to make the postseason. It helped that the Rams lost to the Jets. So now they're more in play in that NFC West. But I do feel that heading into the game, people making that statement, people value Kyler Murray more than what he has brought to the table in the recent stretch. It hasn't been beautiful football for them. They've been losing a lot of games. He's been making bad throws. And that's not to knock what Jalen Hurts has done. I'm just putting it all in perspective. I am thrilled that Jalen Hurts is performing like this. Because if not, well, I don't know what you would have done. Nate Sudfeld and Greg Ward. Would Greg Ward be your third quarterback? Maybe Josh McCown would have had a different role if that's the case. I still don't think what they did at the time in the draft was rational, but here we are. This is how it all played out, so it looks that way. It's viewed that way. I'll keep it simple and end it like this. You can very well be excited about everything you've seen. You can very well be juiced up on Sunday afternoons now because you have an offense that can move the football. I just don't know if it's rational to automatically state that he's going to be it. He could very possibly be it. And I want him to be it. Please, Jalen, please be it. Be the next quarterback for 15 years. Please. So then we don't have to deal with this nonsense all the time. Be it. I need more time to believe that he can be it. And I see nothing wrong with that attitude whatsoever. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.